Howdy, and welcome to the lunch table, a podcast where if you're not listening to us through earbuds, well, you're probably gonna get a call from HR. We are not safe for work.
We are fine to talk about after it goes through the filter of your own mouth. But coming out of our mouths, probably not the best idea in the workplace.
That in itself sounded dirty.
Oh, yeah. Filter.
We might not have something to say, but HR will.
You might not like our mouths, but other people do.
I don't think I'm dirty. But,
Oh, we're dirty.
it's not what I think. And the man who likes to be dirty with me. That's right, my co-host.
Yeah.
Today, the listener.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you're the listener today.
Yeah.
Somewhat the Google.
Kind of. I'm tertiary Google man.
Yes, that's right. Drew, my little sunshine. Watsonizer.
Yeah.
I like when you wear bright.
Eternal sunshine of the
colors.
spotless mind. I never got that title.
It sounds like an idiot trying to use big words.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or vice versa, someone just trying to sound really, really smart for an easy thing.
That's possible. That sounds
I mean, I don't know what it means. I'll tell you that.
I know it has Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet. Is it Kate Winslet? Who's the girl that was in Titanic?
Oh, I don't know. But that redhead who like
Yeah.
gets painted,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know her name.
I think it's Kate Winslet. I should know this after our last episode.
And your host that would bang the boy from Titanic, Leonardo. I got you, buddy. Your host with the most.
Hail Marys after his confession.
Damn. Yeah, I'm not that bad of a guy.
Yeah. What's your record? What did the priest tell you had to do?
What did let's see. Father, it's been a long time since my last confession.
I prefer daddy.
So did he. And a guy who keeps saying Daddy, Carl Jones.
Yeah.
I gotta say it. You ready to jump into this thing?
Sure.
Okay, we're ready to start. Howdy, welcome to the lunch table, man. And women. And things in between. Jesus Christ, I almost messed it up
I think
there.
that's a derogatory term.
Which one? Jesus?
Things.
Oh.
He's trying.
I don't
He's
know
trying.
what to do.
Give him a break.
I don't know what to say. Oh, man. So.
Take the Canadian approach. I'm sorry if I offended you.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Sorry. I just got to put a big lipper in it.
Yeah.
That's all you got to
Sorry.
do. Sorry.
Drink Molson. Or Labatt.
I'm going to chug maple syrup.
That's what they don't want you to know. That's it's secretly alcoholic. I mean, we found out the vanilla, like pure vanilla, is actually alcoholic.
Dang, yeah,
Strongly, actually.
Yeah. It burns.
Oh, yeah.
It burns. So, like, okay, Drew.
Yo,
What church did you go to going as a kid since you brought it up?
I went to Catholic church.
So did I.
I know. We went to the same church, even though we never saw each other.
Never bumped tips.
Yeah. Well, you went throughout the week, and I went on the weekend. Well, I was forced to be on the weekend.
Yeah, I was forced to be there throughout the week. Now, is there anything you ever thought like, how did you feel about it, bro? How did you feel about it altogether?
I don't want to be excommunicated.
Okay.
I hope to be married in a Catholic church one day, just because I'm a traditional guy.
Yeah.
So I can't really say anything about it. I wasn't the biggest fan.
Yeah. I don't know if it's what they're preaching. I don't know if it's like per se like when it comes down to it, I don't think that the spirituality is bad. But I think there's a lot involved in it that leaves people to be openly kind of taken advantage of.
It more so wasn't the church. The differences between Catholic and Methodist, because I actually had a friend who was the son of a Methodist pastor, and like I went to Methodist church every once in a while.
Yeah.
So like the differences to this and that weren't really that bad. But like the thing that I didn't like about Catholic Church were the patrons, the other people that were there.
So
everybody that was snooty was there.
I guess the perfect way to explain this, I have bounced to a lot of churches. I'm the type of guy, I will just sit and listen to some things,
Yeah.
I don't care. I look at it as a learning. I'm interested. I want to see what goes on. If I had a yarmulke, I would go sit, right up the road, and I'd go sit for a mass.
I'll make you one.
Let's see, I'd be totally lost. You could tell I wouldn't belong, but
yeah, if you have a fro, you don't need a yarmulke. You can just walk in.
First off, out of all the masses, I feel like it has some of the most exercising. The Catholic Church, a lot of standing, kneeling, standing, kneeling. The music is terrible.
Yeah,
Christian churches, I think, have nailed that. Because some of their music,
pun intended.
Pun intended.
Nailed it.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Look at me.
Yeah.
I'm so punny. It just leaks out of me. And so like I think they rock in music, but Christianity is a lot more strict. But yet their rules to me somewhat seem a little bit convoluted.
Catholic or just Christianity in general?
More the Catholic. I mean, Christianity kind of in general does too, but I think Catholics are kind of like the big ones, right? Because mainly since they're so strict, I guess it's easier to go, well, look at this crap that doesn't make sense blowing up in your face.
Yeah. The way that I used to explain Catholicism to people is you are part of a exclusive club that you have to pay to be a part of.
Yeah.
It's like a members only club.
It's a frat.
I mean, you do drink while you're there.
And you eat some bread, nasty bread, which would be at a frat.
Yeah, but at a frat, most of the time it has like cheese and marinara sauce.
Yeah. But if a frat gave you a dinner and it was missing a key element to the dinner, like the bread rising, yeast.
Oh, shit. If they served wine and bread and something else for communion.
Yeah, protein.
Oh, is that what your third thing would be? What would be the best thing in that third spot?
To have I think a protein.
Yeah.
To keep me focused during church.
Well, because, like a chicken nugget? Or like a slow cooked rib that falls off the bone?
I think like a butter. Like a fat butter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like here's like brain.
I don't know why it makes so much sense, but like a little cup of mayonnaise.
That'd be weird. Can you imagine? Man. Like the mayonnaise, my son. That is God's children.
This is his body. This is his blood. This is, you don't want to know.
We left that part out for a reason.
It's only in the abridged version of the Bible.
But trust me, you need to chug it.
We're going to get shut down after this episode.
True. I don't want to be shunned, but... Right on it, dude.
Would it be Hellman's or Miracle Whip? I know your preference.
Hellman's. It'd be bitter.
I thought it's salty.
They're not eating fruit. So, but another big thing that kind of blew my mind was they would preach, don't pray to a whole nother God, but then they have a bunch of saints.
Yeah.
A bunch of weird saints to pray to, but don't pray to them like they're another God.
Right.
And it's like, okay, but no other No, like Christianity doesn't really do that. I mean, they don't preach as much about saints and put the saints in front of your face as much.
Yeah.
You don't pick a saint name. I'm not sure if you did that.
Oh, I did.
Okay, so did I. You don't pick a saint name.
Michael.
Ooh.
Or no, I was George. My bad. I
was
toyed around with
Nicholas.
Michael.
Nicholas.
That's weird.
Yeah, I like it. I think. I don't know. I think that was it.
Mine was a Dragon Slayer.
Wow. That's that sounds like an RPG. Okay. So I figured, with all this stuff going on and whatnot.
No. The way that it sounds is, I'll give you kind of a break here. It seems as though each saint is a minor god for something important. Like Thor is the god of thunder and fertility and whatever. But then you have Saint George that is for heroism, and Saint Nicholas for probably liver disease. But
you nailed it on the head.
But
That's
then,
exactly.
Yeah, everything needs to go under God with capital G.
God. But that's exactly it. Everything, he is Zeus.
Yes.
Even though they say, well, we're not like them. And they're weird Hades. And
but he is not the god of anything specifically. He's the god above all gods.
Yeah, of everything.
The god above all saints.
Yeah, above all saints. And I don't think saints, it says saints are mainly humans, but yeah, you do pray to them like a god for things
they're
of like...
demigod.
Yeah, they're a demigod.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Jesus was, right?
No.
Mary birthed him.
Yeah. But that was an immaculate conception.
Was it? Or was it one of Zeus's tricks where he was invisible?
Oh.
Am I on to something?
Joseph's getting cuckolded.
I think after that, like, the carpenter locked her in a room. Like, you ain't get pregnant again.
Oh, you just mysteriously happened. It's never happened in the history of the world.
Yeah, ever. How are you the first person? You want me to believe that, Mary?
Okay, so the time between the Immaculate Conception and when Jesus started doing miracles, like, that must have been hell for Joseph that entire time. Like, that 15 years, 16 years when he's like, oh yeah, I got cheated on and I'm raising this kid.
Think about it. The only release he used to have, too, during that time would have been praying. And now he can't even pray. He's like, you.
But then there would be some moment of clarity like, okay, maybe she did just have birth without getting it on, because now this kid walks on water and turns shit to wine.
I think what happened is when Jesus did his first party trick, he looked at everybody, and he's like, I told you! Because they were all like us in town, like, nah, dude. Nah,
she's going to the club downtown, man.
Yeah, and he's like, no, I've watched my flock. I'm a good shepherd. They've never left.
I would be honestly curious how many popes... Again, I don't know how sainthood works entirely, and I'm sure you're going to go into it, but I would assume like the Pope is the one that makes the final decision. Why, as a Pope, wouldn't you just be like, yep, I'm a saint now?
Okay, so we'll explain sainthood. I mean, this will help. So how you get sainthood is there's two ways. You got to have a miracle, what they consider a miracle, happen.
Okay.
And then they have to be, someone has to be there to use an image or something of you. So they have to have someone has to have a miracle happen to them thinking of you. And it has to be proven. So, this leads kind of perfectly into this. I wanted to talk about Mother Teresa because I've heard the phrase a bunch growing up. You're no Mother Teresa. Yada, 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 yada.
Like an ultimately good person.
Yeah, like the most holy person, kind of like Gandhi. So I wanted to look into her and see about her. And you know what? First, she was born in 1910.
Not too far.
1900s, I guess.
Yeah.
Pretty much the beginning of it, and we're at the end of it. Look how much change has happened.
Yeah.
I want to see what happens in 2000s. It's going to be interesting. Right? But the way
Coronavirus.
the way it happened with Mother Teresa was basically There was this terminally ill patient with a tumor.
Okay.
She had a necklace of Mother Teresa on after Mother Teresa passed. She passed in around 1997 of a heart attack.
Oh, dang.
Okay. But anywho, this patient prayed to her, claimed to see a big white light that came down and hit her tumor and basically cured her.
So she wasn't a saint before then?
No. She was up for sainthood.
Okay.
Basically, like, they're like, hey, you've done enough. You've gotten on my list, the Pope's list. Like, hey, you've done enough for the church. I see you. But some miracle has to happen to show that you're not just human.
Oh.
And it has to happen because of you. But also, it has to happen after you pass.
Oh, okay.
So you're not going to become a saint living. It's after you pass, and basically, you know, because she had the necklace with Mother Teresa, and that's who she was praying to, and this thing blew. So, like, she was praying to someone who wasn't even a saint yet.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. Why?
The church is weird like that. They have different steps and levels.
And also, does it have to be, like, recordable? Because, like,
Yes.
you could have a picture of me and say...
Right, yeah, there has to be some way to record it. That's the description. That is how she got her sainthood. So I don't know if the doctors were like, yeah, this is a miracle. Like, they wrote in, like, hey, church, this is, like, that tumor should have killed her, and now it's just gone. You know, it is a miracle. I'm assuming the church looked into it.
Yeah.
But then again, if you also have people who are already praying to this woman and wearing necklaces of her.
Right.
You know,
There's something else going on.
Maybe making her a saint ain't a bad idea. Now, the funny thing about Mother Teresa. First off, do you know where she's from, Drew? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, I actually know that one. Albania.
Yeah, Albania, yeah. So it's kind of a rough neighborhood. A little bit rough place. My thing about her is she...
Maybe I wasn't too far off.
I think
in
what?
2014, both popes, Pope John Paul the 23rd and John Paul the 2nd, were sanctified.
We're sanctified. Dang. So, Mother Teresa, her dad was... We'll start... I think she got a lot of who she is off of her dad, even though her dad wasn't around for a long time. Her dad died when she was about 8. There's not much said about him, but he was a politician.
Oh.
Right? Inside Albania. And then...
So he was corrupt.
Or something happened where he was the only good guy and got murdered. You know, he was trying to bring in a different religion or something and got murdered.
Jim trafficking.
There you go. But, okay, so around 1910, she was born. Her dad about 8, so it was like 1919. Her dad died, passed. It was they were still living in the area, kind of struggling to get by a little bit. She has a sister, but I've only known she had a sister through a passing thing. It never really brought her up when I was doing the research of early life. It was just like, there's a line in here that alludes that she has a sister.
If she's Mother Teresa,
yeah,
does that make her like Aunt Sarah?
I guess. So around 1919, that's about when her dad dies. And around 12 years old, she learns all these stories about missionaries, about all these missionaries going on. And she basically falls in love with them like superheroes. Man, like, these are her comics, right?
Greenpeace.
Yeah, there's these Catholics or you know, these religious people going in, helping people, saving us, and people like us. They're heroes. So, at the age of 12, she made a commitment. She made a devout vow that that was it. I'm devoting my whole life to religion now, to the Catholic religion.
Damn.
At the age of 12. She was so convinced, dude, that by the age of 18, she left to go to Ireland, mainly to learn English, and to do that, she had to join a sisterhood. Okay? That was the last time she saw her mom and her sister.
Ever?
Ever. At 18.
Damn.
Her dad dies at 8. This is where, like, things kind of pop up that are strange. You're a loving person, but then again, you're like, peace, never talking to you again.
I don't know, maybe she had a shitty family.
Maybe she did. It doesn't really allude to it, but turn the other cheek, right? Isn't that what they're taught?
Yeah.
You know?
She turned both cheeks.
So it was there that she went there to learn English because a lot of missionaries, it was the big thing to speak English. It was just the common way that they communicated with each other.
Right.
Eventually, after she was in a sisterhood,
USA.
she learned USA, USA. She went to the Himalayas to actually start what they call her notative, which is the novice level of Christianity. So she's starting her first church level.
Okay.
In the Himalayas, it's about,
Wouldn't that be like going to church to begin with? Isn't that the first level?
No.
Is that the ground floor?
I guess that's not.
You devoted your life to Christianity at age 12.
12, and it took, and that, you know, but it's only 1929. You figure 1919, her dad died, so it's 10 years from her being 8, basically. I mean, so this is right after she learned English. She left to go to the Himalayas to be like, okay, let's start being a novice. Let's go save people with Jesus. Let's do it. How many Jesuses do I gotta level up? How many people does it take to get to Jesus level?
Don't forget to gear him up.
What do you think you put most in? Defense? Magic?
Oh. Gotta be magic. Magic and speed.
It's magic and speed. She took her first religious vow on May 24th, 1931.
Through a sisterhood, yeah.
Yep. She chose her name. She wanted to choose basically a different version of Teresa. I don't even know how it's supposed to be said, but it's a different language. Do you see that? How would you say that? Teresi? But anyways, another nun had it, and she was like, you bitch.
That was the name I wanted.
That's the name I wanted. So she took Teresa, which is the Spanish version of that.
Oh.
So, the Spanish...
Yeah, the A kind
of... Saint Teresa. Do you want to guess what she's the saint of? Because you nailed it.
The poor.
Missionaries. She's a saint of missionaries. So, I mean, this girl is all in. She's sold on this Kool-Aid. She wants to be a missionary. She's like, they're my heroes since I was 12. My dad died at 8. This is what I'm doing. Ain't no one stopping me. Anyways, around 1937, she ended up becoming a teacher for a while.
Okay.
During her teacherhood.
Yeah, that probably would have been another guess. If you had to give me another guess about what she's a saint of, I probably would have said teacher.
Teacher. And there's where she started learning a lot more things and kind of finishing her schooling and whatnot, while also running a school.
Okay.
Ended up developing a love kind of for children, I'm assuming, and whatnot. It doesn't say it, but you're running a children full of kids and stuff, and saying, and she ends up working with them later, so I feel like it's a good practice for her. There happens to be a big famine around where the school is.
Fatima.
Fatima. People dying everywhere. She kind of sees this going on, and she decides, I need to do something about it. And this is where she first gets the idea for the missionary of charity. The big thing that she's known for.
Okay.
Right? The big thing that's still around that everyone kind of does. But she wants to start her own huge missionary. Eventually, she gets it done. She gets the blessing of the Pope, Pope John II, I do believe. Eventually, she talks about it. She gets the okay from Pope John II.
I think that was the Pope when we started, going to church still.
Yeah, I mean, 1950 is when it happened, so he could have been a relatively new pope at that time, or,
Okay.
Yeah.
Pope John Paul II?
1950, yep, the second
Yeah.
Congress, which would become the missionary of charity, in her words. This is what she would have to say about the poor. the hunger, the naked, the homeless, the crippled, the blind, the leopards, all those people who feel unwanted, unloved.
Leopards?
The lepers. Leapers.
Leprosy was still a thing in the 50s?
Yeah, in India it still is. It's a big thing in it. Dude,
Jeez.
have you seen their river?
Yeah.
It's brown.
Yeah.
Like poop.
Yeah.
Because they poop in it.
Yeah.
They're gonna have skin problems. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how else to put it. It's common sense now. Stop doing it, people. But yeah, so it was a big deal. Leopard. A lot happens there. This is why she was needed. This is why she needed to start a charity.
Okay.
Okay, and as you can tell, it changed everything, didn't it? Jeez. There's no more people there suffering, is there?
Could be.
Could be.
I don't know. I'm not there.
We'll get into it. We'll see.
My 12th age has come and passed a long time ago.
And all those who feel unwanted, unloved, uncared, and throughout society, people that have become a burden to the society and are shunned by everyone. That was like her main reason of creating this charity. She wanted to help those people.
Okay.
Those who are shunned for being poor and kind of thrown out for basically she knows no one's going to help them, right?
Meek.
This all happens in India. She opens up basically there's a lot that she does. And we can sit here and we can get into a lot of the different charities, but they all kind of run off the same thing. She runs hospitals.
Okay.
Mainly for young children.
Okay.
They come in, she tries to help them the best she can, the deathly ill, things like that. And that's what she does throughout India. Just basically running hospitals, trying to help the deceased, while running a bunch of charities. So, eventually, she gets declining health. This is the part where you saw me laughing. She was visiting... Oh, I'm sorry. It was Pope John I that gave her the charity.
Okay.
She was visiting Pope John II when she got her heart attack. My
Okay.
fault. So, in 1983...
They came right after one another.
Yeah. Basically in her life, she met the one pope, got the one thing, met another pope, got a heart attack. Then her first heart attack happened in Rome in 1983, meeting the Pope. She had a second one in 1989 and had a peacemaker in 1991. She basically had a bunch of problems in Mexico.
Dude,
she ended up...
She had 2 heart attacks?
2 heart attacks, still lived. Got a peacemaker in 91. She lived till 97. I mean,
dude,
she still
I think
did
she
stuff.
was just enjoying the food. She was just enjoying the food of Mexico, man. That's why she had clogged artery.
Clogged artery. Well, no, she had the heart attacks before Mexico.
Okay.
Then she went to Mexico.
So she was eating the Indian food too.
In Rome. She had it in Rome. What do Romans eat? Pizza. Oh, you pizza eaters.
Pasta.
In April 1996, she fell and breaks her collarbone. And 4 months later, she has a massive heart failure. They have heart surgery. She lives.
Did she smoke? Does it say?
No, it doesn't say anything like that. On March...
Can you just imagine Mother Teresa
right.
chiefing cigarettes? No, don't worry, kid. I'll be there in a second.
On March 13th, 1997, she finally passed.
Yeah.
Finally, the heart attack took her. She got tired of living. And so, at the time of her death, the Missionaries of Charity had over 4,000 sisters and association brotherhoods of 300 members and operating 610 missions in 123 countries. These include hospital, homes, and people with HIV and AIDS, leprosy, tuberculosis, soup kitchens, children, families, counseling programs, orphanage, and schools.
Damn.
The Missionary of Charity were aided by co-working numbers over 1 million by the 90s. So basically a bunch of people working with over 1 million people.
Right.
So that was basically her whole life. In a nutshell, the good parts, the decent parts. She started out, she did a bunch of wonderful things. As you saw, she made a lot of charities for people who wanted to do good. She got to live her dream.
Okay, so she was a good person.
We'll find out. So, first off, what age did you know what the hell you wanted to do? Let alone make a vow to a god.
Actually, it's probably pretty close to that.
Yeah?
13.
13? You knew you wanted to go to space or deal with space? Or...
Well, I knew that I wanted to do something with space when I was like 9 years old. I went to the library and I saw a book about like astronauts.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the coolest job in the world. Before that, I wanted to be a dentist. Before that, I wanted to be a lawyer. Before that, I wanted to be a dentist/lawyer. I wanted to be an architect. I wanted to be a fireman. I mean, a lot of other young kids do. But yeah, astronaut. And then like 13, I realized, yeah, I'm gaining a lot of weight. I'm gaining a lot of height. I'm a little too fat and tall to be an astronaut. Let me just stay on the ground. I want to be an astrophysicist.
I don't want to blow up in the rocket. I want to build the rocket that blows up.
Well, I think I actually asked my uncle who works at NASA. I said, like, I obviously can't be an astronaut. What can I be? He goes, well, you can do the same stuff on the ground. Be an astrophysicist. So that's, I mean, ever since then. I mean, even since you've known me, I've wanted to be an astrophysicist.
Yeah, from day one.
Yeah.
I've not been that person.
Yeah.
I've never really known. People go, well, what do you want to do? And I go, well, I haven't even tried it. I don't know. I don't know if I like it. So for me to sit there and see someone at 12 years old just devout their life, like, that's it. I'm going to be Christian forever. I mean, she was baptized right after she was born.
Yeah.
I mean, it explains, like, she was born on the 6th, August 6th, and by the 7th, she was baptized. Not even a day.
I mean, that's probably not too far off.
I mean, usually you wait a little bit, bring them home. It's usually like
a week, maybe?
Several weeks or so, or a month.
Yeah, but that's a different culture. They might do things a little differently.
I never said it was weird. I was just
and now it's not saying that they dunked a newborn baby in the pool. Maybe they just...
I don't know how they did it then. Maybe they dropped them.
Yeah.
Oh,
the old Spartan treatment.
Baptized.
If they live, they get to continue living.
So, Drew, I told you earlier to look up some of the awards that she has won.
Yep.
For some, because, like, reading through this, there's no, besides that, like, cancer thing, there's no one thing, like, she didn't pull people from a burning building. She just ran a bunch of great organizations.
Okay.
Which helped out a lot of the poor and things like that. So, to show how hard she kind of worked and what she did, would you like to read what she's won and maybe explain a little bit?
Well, first off, they actually have a Mother Teresa Award, officially called the Mother Teresa Memorial Awards for Social Justice.
Ooh.
International and national awards presented to individuals and organizations that promote peace, equality, and social justice and aim to encourage the cause of justice and peaceful coexistence while providing an impetus for society to imbibe these values.
What?
They are wordy with that.
What does that even mean, dude?
Promote peace, equality, and social justice is a main one. But yeah, it's given an honor her. So, I mean, they all those kind of awards kind of focus on that same thing.
Yeah.
Hey, you got a slice of American cheese. You might as well have a piece of Velveeta, too, because it's the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean, true. That's almost the same.
But the biggest one she got was the Nobel Peace Prize, named after a Swedish industrialist that actually made TNT.
What?
The Nobel Peace Prize is named after the guy that invented TNT.
That's awesome.
It has been awarded to those who have done the most or the best work for fraternities between nations, for the abolition of or reduction of standing armies, and for holding and promotion of peace congresses. So peace.
Yeah, but what do they even mean by that? Like, peace?
I think it's a broad term because there's actually like a whole bunch of different. You can do chemistry, physics, physiology, medicine, and literature all in the Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh, jeez.
I think they do one for each year. Yeah. Contributing to peace and human rights.
So just to let you know, Mother Teresa didn't become a saint till 2016.
Damn.
So think about it. When people are saying, you're no Mother Teresa, and things like that, she wasn't even a saint. She wasn't a saint for a good majority of her life.
She was on the list.
She was on the list. She made the list.
The next one that she earned was the Bharat Ratna, or called the Jewel of India, is the highest civilian award in the Republic of India, and pretty much done with exceptional service performance of the highest order. Very much so like the Peace Prize.
Another. I guess there was one more miracle that helped towards her sainthood.
She has two?
She has two. So the lady with the necklace, and in Brazil, a man woke up from a brain abscess out of a coma, and he credited her for it.
Oh.
Credited Mother Teresa for making him come
Dude,
out.
I wonder if somebody was like slipping him some money underneath the bed, like, hey, Mother Teresa needs to get there.
Right.
This list of potential saints, did you see any of them? Did you credit any of them? The next one that she had was Order of the Smile. This one is actually fairly straightforward.
Okay.
International award given by children to adults distinguished in their love, care, and aid for children.
Dude, okay.
I agree with that one.
Dude, but my thing is, has anyone ever came up to you and asked you?
Oh, no, it's
recorded
that I don't like children.
No. As a child, did anyone ask you, well, who are you voting for this year? I didn't know it was around. Why couldn't I know? My dad. My dad.
Another one she had is the Honor of Nations decoration. This one is Albanian. And it's very much so like the other ones, as a token of gratitude and recognition for those who, by their acts and good name, contribute to honoring the Albanian nation.
Woo, Albania. They love their people.
Pope John the 23rd Peace Prize. Very much so under the same type of thing.
Yeah.
But with his name. And I assume they all have kind of a board. And then the Presidential Medal of Freedom is the highest civilian award in the U.S. Like the Congressional Medal of Honor, but this one is just for civilians. Bestowed by the President to recognize people who have made an especially meritorious contribution to the security or nation's interest of the United States, world peace, cultural, or other significant public or private endeavors. It really fucking does everything.
Well, first off, come on. Does this even sound like this person's real? This sounds like a character that they made up for the masses. Oh no, she's perfect. Be like her.
Hey.
So, any more awards, buddy?
I mean, there's a lot that she has, but they're all along the same things.
Right. It's just peace. Yeah. Is there are they all, does it say any of them are connected or in the same kind of circle of awards or anything like that, or no?
I did not see that.
Okay.
No.
Well, so all those awards she has, and then eventually sainthood didn't come till 2017, but in 1994, a documentary with the name of Hell's Angels.
Like the biker gang?
Like the biker gang.
Okay.
The first of many criticisms of Mother Teresa's work started to emerge. Doo-doo. The documentary was spearheaded by someone who was a volunteer in Mother Teresa's missionary work.
So she's not a good person.
Well, we're just reading. Do nothing but reading, Drew.
Okay.
This meant that the source was very credible. Yeah, dude, we know that. It claimed, through various eyewitnesses' testimonies, that there was no regard for safety for the terminally ill individuals under the watchful eye of Mother Teresa. This disregard was seen in the form of reusing the same needles for various patients who were receiving treatments.
She was treating AIDS, people had said.
Mm-hmm. And leprosy.
Oh, God.
There was no sterilization in the process, which meant that there was a very high chance of infection. Shockingly, these malpractices were happening at places that were patients of HIV, AIDS, and who already had immune compromises.
Okay.
Doo-doo-doo. Eyewitnesses claim that no staff at these places of care were medically trained and had poor skills in handling patients already making peace with death. So basically, yeah, she had all these people, but she just took volunteers. Never said they had to be trained in anything or whatever. So she's starting these churches, not churches, hospitals.
Okay.
And treatments for these people, ran by people who are not doctors.
Okay.
Right? And you're asking yourself, right? I know what you're asking yourself. You're like, hey, she's in a poor country. I mean, she's probably doing the best that she can trying to take care of these people, but maybe she doesn't have the funding.
Yeah, maybe she doesn't have other needles, so she has to use them.
Mother Teresa herself has brought in over $30 million to her own funding. So, like, through her, just her.
Okay.
She has gotten $30 million of funding. Let alone everybody else who has joined and brought money and funded, and got donations.
Okay.
So already it's like, well, you alone brought in $30 million. How are you sitting there saying you have no funds to get needles?
Maybe there was a supply chain problem like there is now.
Maybe ask instead of spreading HIV. Right? Come on now.
Also, the amount of people that didn't have training and things like that doesn't really bother me either, because you're taking volunteers. At some point, you get to the point where you just want to accept people no matter what they can do.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I could see that.
And you give them a chance.
Okay.
I mean, nobody's really great at anything they do the first time anyways.
Right, but spreading diseases? If it had to do with spreading disease.
Okay, but it doesn't really show the percentage of how many that happened. The amount of people that she treated could have been 100,000, but you have 2 cases of her spreading HIV. What I'm saying is that the news might have made, or however the news got out, that might have been one isolated case of it being bad.
Yeah.
But they don't report on the good.
Okay. So Mother Teresa brought in $30 million in funding for various donors across the world. There was more than enough money throughout the operations to run smoothly. Instead, there was no attempts even slightly to make accommodations for the people. They didn't try in any way, shape, or form to improve. So let's say they got a used hospital.
Okay.
They wouldn't improve it. They just let it sit. So okay. So Teresa and other missionaries would refuse to even install water heaters at certain camps. It is a testament of her caring about a person rather than actual freezing water, which the patients would use to bathe. So now you're reusing needles. You're not paying for water. People can't bathe. You're spreading disease. Even if you're doing this as an intent for good, you're spreading more death. You're kind of an agent of death now. Right? Donald.
Again, we don't know how much of this was actually her.
Who's this? Donald, how would you say that?
McIntyre?
Is that McIntyre?
Yeah.
Okay. Donald McIntyre went undercover for one of the hospitals to volunteer for Teresa and reported similar neglect, even in cases of abuse. His reporters claimed that children and the mentally ill were often tied up with ropes and clothing so they could be fed or kept stationary. These clear violations of human rights were brushed off and never even associated with Mother Teresa. Basically, no one believed it. People were like, hey, there's things going on in her hospital that aren't right. She's getting donations. She's getting money. Kids are being tied up. They're being abused. She's reusing needles. And people are like, yeah, she's Mother Teresa. She wouldn't do that. There's no way she could do that. Now, Mother Teresa was kind of shady herself. She was often caught mingling with weird individuals that would donate largest amount to her charities.
Like Epstein?
Like mass murder of Catholic nuns and...
Oh, shit.
San Salvador during the Cold War. San Salvador during the Cold War, who killed a bunch of nuns and other churches because he would donate. She was hanging out with them. Charles Keaton, she would hang out with, which is a huge business tycoon. She's a huge business tycoon who has done a lot of bad things. Let's see. I forget where it is, but there's a priest in here that got in trouble for kid situations, and she defended him the entire time, even though he's found guilty on many of things.
One of the biggest things with Catholicism is like one of the reasons that other groups of Christianity hate them is because no matter how many bad things that you did, you could always find a way to get forgiveness, or in certain cases, especially in the older days, pay for forgiveness.
Yeah.
So maybe she was taking that to a new level where, yeah, you killed, 80,000 nuns, but you donated $80 million, and that forgives your sins.
I mean, maybe. Maybe that's because it says she basically treated everyone the same. I mean, maybe they're misreading it, I think the neglect you still kind of got to deal with. You can't just... You've killed people. Well, she has to accept that she's killed people.
People under her have probably killed people. We don't know how much direct contact she had with those people. It's not like she was probably the one putting the secondhand used needle in somebody's arm.
Right.
It may have been somebody underneath her that she was supposed to be watching or managing or whatever. But at that point, you have almost a business. So you manage people that manage people that manage people that did the bad.
So Christopher Hitchens is the guy who made this Hell's Angel documentary with a lot of this dirt kind of comes up in. Just in case anyone wanted to go see it.
That title sounds like he's calling her the devil.
He is.
Hell's Angel.
Hell's Angel, he is. Yeah. And then in an article in 2003, I don't know how it was released, but it was basically an old article that was made in 1995. They just re-released it in 2003. Released some quotes that she has said to some individuals. So I'm going to read you some of these quotes.
Hit me. Give me the goods.
Or what some people have said about her.
You want me to try and defend her?
Yeah, if you want.
All right.
This returns us to the medieval corruption of the church. Oh, I'm sorry. I started at the wrong. That was Christopher's. My bad. I'm bad. There we go. It was taken back to her that I discovered she was ashamed. Okay. She has said, I am not a social worker. I don't work for this reason. I do it for Christ. I do it for the church. I don't care who gets saved. I care how many churches there are. That's a direct quote. So she came out and said, I don't care how many people I save. I care how much church I spread.
Right. Well, she was initially a missionary. But again, she's taking the manager approach to where
I don't think that's the manager approach.
she is setting up churches, which are the managers for different missionaries. So they're going to be the ones spreading good. So it doesn't matter how much she herself does. It matters that she is making a network that will eventually save more people in the long run.
You think that? But she's not a social worker. She doesn't care about people in her life.
Exactly. She is a manager.
That's not what the Word of God preaches.
She is a manager of social workers. She herself is not a social worker.
She was a friend of poverty, she said. She said that suffering was a gift from God. She spent her life opposing the only known cure for poverty, which is that empowerment of women. So basically, the quote from her, quote, "Suffering is a gift from God. There is no cure for poverty." What do you think about that?
I mean, that is an old school church way of thinking to begin with. That the problem is not with her. She's just spreading the way of the church. The problem is the church believing that to begin with.
Okay, to me, if you are brainwashed, you are also the problem.
But you're not the problem. You are part of the problem.
I think she did more than enough. I think she is part of the problem. The Pope didn't go around starting all these people to join in. Because think about it. A lot of people probably joined her mission not believing in the religion. So she's already failing herself. They just wanted to help out people. Look how many people donated that were evil just to seem good, right? And maybe she was dumb enough she was buttering up to them.
Okay.
But the ignorance isn't an excuse. And to me, if you're going to just stab, think about that. Think about it. You're poor. You're already sick. You're already having a hard time. You pray to God. You see this missionary place. You go in there. You're like, okay, good. Can I just get something to eat? And they're like, here, let us give you this medicine. And they stick you with the needle, and now you got freaking leprosy. Just start falling apart. Yeah, you'd be pretty pissed.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be like, I'd rather not have your help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in some sense, your blind ignorance is bad. It's wrong. I know you're trying, just because you're trying to do it for the right reasons. I guess the splash isn't
Again, we don't know the statistics on how many things went wrong.
Well, I'll tell you, Drew. The country's not doing that great. Not now. And not back then. And not any time in between.
Yeah.
How much did she really do? Nothing. She wasted millions of dollars and spread disease.
Yeah, but from what you said, it's her money or the money of bad people.
No, it's money of donators. And that's also church money. Huh? So when you're sitting there and that little tin got passed around and you threw your dollars in there.
The church doesn't need any help wasting money.
It's still a waste of money. Okay, what about tying up children?
Yeah, I can't. I can't.
And they're mentally ill.
I can't fight that one.
Yeah. Or like literally
maybe they were biters.
Not buying heaters. You're from Albania. And you're like, you know what? No heaters.
She spent a majority of her time in Rome, which is on the Mediterranean, India, Mexico.
Yeah, but she had missionaries in 123 countries.
Okay.
Some of them, I bet, froze. You got to have heaters for those ones.
Maybe 122 of them were on the equator.
Don't be leading shit. Maybe they were. Touche, Drew. You're right. There's nothing saying...
Funny enough, the thing that I'm doing right now is being literally unchecked about facts. Yeah. Is exactly what this documentary that you're talking about was doing.
Well, no, they have facts. And, so down here, if you look, they get a lot of their sources from New York Times here.
Oh, because they're the most trustworthy people in the world.
I got a lot of sources. The Washington Post, National Geographic, Slate.com, News and Politics. A couple other places they get sources, too, from in here.
Okay.
So it does have a bunch of sources. Now, I did not look up the documentary itself, and that's why I'm saying maybe we should watch it.
What this seems like is when we were in English class in high school,
Yeah.
you had to make a bibliography.
Yeah.
And you couldn't use Wikipedia for the fact that people could edit it. They are using unreliable sources here. The Washington Post, okay, maybe it has one editor, but people can still pretty much write whatever they want.
Well, yeah, you're thinking of it today, but what about in 1995 when it was written?
That's even worse. People had no
See, I disagree.
way to get the information.
I disagree. I think for a long time, reporters were actually good people. They were the people who weren't scared to say shit about the big fucking corporations. How do you think we learned about them? It was journalists who went out there, saw whatever, and wrote about it. Now, a lot of them did come from the New York Post. Is it shit now? Yes. Because they all sold out. But that's not how they started. And I think Mother Teresa back then would have got under some people's skin. Come on, back in the grunge days, you don't think someone would have strapped up their shit, gone on a plane, and went and watched this bitch? Because they would have.
Well, you also cited a website.
That's
back
true.
in the 50s, that website
Yeah,
wasn't...
that website wasn't there. I don't know what he used the website for.
So, I mean, if you have a current website, then maybe you had current New York Post.
Well, I think it means this article in which it's talking about the documentary.
Yeah.
I think that's who used Slate.com. Now, the Washington Post and things like that, I think that's some of the sources that may have been found inside the documentary. But like I said, I haven't researched the documentary. Actually, I'll do it right now. I didn't even look it up. Because I didn't care if so much it was real, as much as the conversation.
Yeah.
But we will look it up and see that. And it's not like we already showed that there was a guy who went undercover.
Okay.
That Charles McLehaney went undercover into her hospital.
Okay.
And said, yeah, these things are happening.
Again, it wasn't her putting the needle in. It wasn't her doing the bad acts, managing the people that did do those bad acts.
Right. Me and you, though, look at it different because I still find her responsible. I still think you don't become a saint because of that.
There's a classic decision-making problem where you have two railroad tracks and a switch in the middle of them. And you have one track that has one person tied down to it, another track that has 5 people tied down to it. Which one are you going to flip? I mean, you're still going to have to kill somebody, but one actually helps out 5 people and the other one just helps out one person. Maybe she decided, kill the one person. Maybe she took that route. I had to do some good, or I had to do some bad to do 5 times as much good.
So this was a television documentary program criticizing Mother Teresa, which premiered in the UK on Channel 4.
Okay.
So it's an UK regular open channel that already tells you it can't be a bunch of bullcrap or else they don't, they kind of control what's on there. I don't think they would just have someone bashing Mother Teresa on UK. Maybe they would.
Okay, but you can have a guy that rides around in a police box, an alien with 2 hearts that goes back in time and space.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's fiction. What I'm saying is because it's owned by their government, it's not like they're going to allow some anti-government conspiracy theorist to go on there and just yell some bullcrap unless he has some reputable sources. Because they're in the UK, their TV, I think like Channel 4 is their... it's free.
PBS?
Yeah, it's like PBS. It's free. It's free, so it's controlled by their government. That's why like they can't show certain things.
Okay.
There's a director, yada 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 yada. 1994. Let's get to know this feedback.
Yeah, but really, there only needs to be like 4 or 5 people that have the same direction that you do that read that on a day that they were having a particularly bad day, and they're like, "Yep, Mother Teresa is my main evil target now."
Well, to be fair, there's not much proof that she provided that much help either. because
we're at a catch-22.
You know, there's really, if you want to say, well, she didn't deal with the death, okay, then she didn't provide that much help either. Other people's money and stuff did. She was just kind of there. She was a figure that they used as the charity.
It bothers me that the Nobel Peace Prize, of all prizes, wouldn't have done background on this to determine if she was actually secretly a bad person.
What do you mean?
The other ones, maybe.
Really? They gave the guy with TNT a peace prize.
No, he founded it.
True. You don't think maybe a big donation or money could maybe make a decision?
They give out the money.
You don't think if they made a donation or someone big was like, hey, she hung out with one of the presidents, dude. She hung out with popes.
Okay.
You don't think that they might have a little bit of influence to go, hey, we're going
to... No, because she wasn't a saint until 2016.
Yeah.
2017. If she was really as connected as you're saying that she was to these popes, the second she died, she would have been a saint.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think, because probably what happened was this guy wrote it. It probably wasn't big. It seems, from looking at it, it seems like it got bigger in later review because, like, it was on, dude, in 95, it was on UK TV. How long do you think that would take until we finally found it over here? It would take a little bit.
2001?
It would take a little bit. Probably 2001. And then people start reading. Then you start finding some stuff out on it. You know, so... I mean, I think there's a little bit of truth. You can't say, even if she was an evil dude, you can't say that she didn't mistreat the hospital. Because that was... You have proof and a whole recording of not only people who have worked for her coming out saying, like, hey... Like, there wasn't one spearhead person who came out. There was multiple volunteers coming out saying, hey, these people are being mistreated. You know, they're reusing needles. This is happening. You had a reporter go undercover into her hospitals. Report the same thing. Made a big deal out of it. You know, I think people wanted to ignore it. Like Gandhi. You ever read what Gandhi has done? He married what? His, like, 13-year-old cousin.
But didn't he help? Like,
he just preached peace and not harm people, but yet take a 13-year-old. You know, they're convoluted half the time. She's sitting. I think she was someone sold on the sauce. She thought she was doing right, and she didn't care how, so she just left a bunch of devastation in her way. And I think because she did a lot, and it started basically charity. They used her to make people feel comfortable to donate, is the way I feel. Like, oh, look at her doing good. Look at this lady. Let's use her as a figurehead to donate. And the Albanians, I think, use her as a hero. And I don't think it is what it is, but she has done bad.
Okay, what about this one? She helped evacuate 37 children during the siege of Beirut. The siege of Beirut took place in the summer of 1982 as first part of the Lebanon war between Israel and Palestine. At the height of the siege, Mother Teresa helped evacuate 37 retarded and handicapped children from a mental hospital in a refugee camp.
She probably had to untie them.
Oh my God.
She was like, man, if they're found tied up. I don't know, man. I don't know. And like millions and millions of dollars have been donated to these charities and funds. And it brings me back to when I was talking to somebody and they said they went on a mission trip and it kind of ruined their belief.
Oh.
Because they went on a mission trip and they went to this country and he realized, dude, we're only there for a couple months. First off, it's not like you're fixing Africa.
Yeah.
He's like, you're not fixing Africa in the time that we're down there.
You build a church, pretty much.
Pretty much. Well, and what they do is try to help build houses. But then what he realized is, we brought a bunch of people who don't know how to do shit. Kind of like them. So what he basically explained was, I kind of lost faith because we would try to help them and build stuff for them, and then at night their carpenters would go tear it down and actually fix shit the way it should be.
Oh,
You know, and they would like pretend to pray to get the stuff that they needed. So now you got two groups just using each other and nothing's getting done. If they were actually trying to make a difference and make a difference, but they're not. They're trying to spread the word like a disease. It's like she's trying to spread HIV through Jesus.
I would just I want to tell a small story about something that seems very relevant to you.
Okay.
When I was doing my Eagle Scout project, you were one of the people that volunteered their time to help me.
Yeah.
You were doing a good thing.
Yeah.
You were helping me, and I was trying to help the community.
Yeah, and I fucked up.
Yes. Specifically in the building process, we had to use shingles.
Yeah.
And normally you start at the bottom and do a row, and then put a row on top of that, and so on and so forth, all the way up to the top. You started in the top left-hand corner and ended in the bottom right-hand corner in one row.
It was perfect.
It looked like a curve.
It was perfect.
Until my dad took a step back and went, "What the fuck, man?"
I know.
So you
Yeah.
were attempting to do good.
Yes.
You were attempting to help the thing,
Yes.
but you were unqualified,
Yes.
and you had trouble, and it
Right.
needed redone.
Yeah.
So the deed of you still doing good.
I don't think equivalating me to putting up something for shade equals to the same as healthcare, like HIV. Or children.
It is, yeah, actually.
No, I don't think
You were
so.
helping children.
No, I wasn't.
Yes, you
no,
were.
No. It's a byproduct of putting up shade. You wanted to put it up for shade. Children happened to use it,
Yeah.
but
That was where all the soccer teams were.
that is not the same as literally saying, if you are deathly ill, come to me and we will save you. You come to me and I get you sick.
Baby steps. Babies, you could have saved children
you're
from heat exhaustion.
Dude,
and you don't know.
You're comparing apples to plantains here.
No, I'm comparing bananas to plantains. They're almost the same, just different in magnitude.
So, I mean, we're divided. But I thought that was a fun little get-together of knowing little Mother Teresa there. Do we really know more? No.
Or the devil, as some people call her.
Or the devil, as really, like, 4 people called her. So far. Other ones didn't come out. They just said they worked for her. The Pope's like her, but that doesn't mean anything to me. Because she also defended, like I said, a man who she defended a lot of the priests when those things were going on that we all now make fun of priests for.
Oh, well, that might just be because that's what she was told to do.
Just as bad.
She was part of the church.
Yeah.
And the church, that could have been part of the Pope's problem.
And I think that's it. That blind faith you got to be careful of. She was sold on the Kool-Aid. I told you.
What flavor Kool-Aid?
Yeezus. Yeezy there. Yeezy had lemonade. I feel like
Lemonade? It's lemonade Kool-Aid?
it'd have to. I'm sorry. It'd have to be red.
Yeah.
It'd have to be
for
red.
punch.
Yeah.
Or blue.
No, it'd be something stupid
Kool-Aid.
like raspberry. It'd be a limited.
I don't know. She dressed in a lot of blue.
She did actually. That's one thing it said that one sisterhood she first went to. She started gaining popularity, and she changed the look of them to the blue.
Oh.
She made that look and then made them wear it at that school and stuff. Also, the nuns would all talk crap. It was funny when I was reading about
Well,
it.
no wonder she paid the people that killed him.
When I'd read about it, all this stuff that's like the nuns would like make fun of one another, or like she would have to prove stuff against other. I was like, really?
This fucking virgin over here.
Right. Like I thought you're all supposed to be a sisterhood. What's this catty bullshit? She's an interesting read. If anything, I hope it just rattles people to look her up.
Can you think about what that special time of the month would be in a nunnery they're around each other for so long that the cycles would sync up.
Oh, God.
There's 200 nuns at a certain place, and they're all pissed off at the same time. Of course, catty things happen at that time.
Some dude's gonna be like, "Why do you guys spend so much on chocolate per month?" That's where all their money was going.
We grow our own roses outside.
That's where that was.
We don't need no man.
We don't need no
Jesus
man.
Christ.
Jesus is a man. The only man I like has a beard, long hair, and sandals.
I like to think of Jesus in a Leonard Skinner t-shirt.
Another thing that surprised me was I thought it would happen a lot longer ago. Right? Like, you hear sometimes of these figures, and you're thinking, like, ancient history. Then that was like, oh, she was 1900s? I was born 1900s.
That's a century apart from each other.
But that could be possibly one lifetime.
Oh, it was one lifetime. From the time she was born to the time you were born, she was still alive when you were born.
So, touche. Only one lifetime. That's not long.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not really long. So it's, like, insane. Even Picasso. It just amazes me. Some of these guys you hear of, and you just think they're historic figures, and you read about it, and you're like, oh, they only died 20 years ago.
Andy Warhol.
Andy Warhol.
Yeah.
Another good one. Huh. Well, Drew?
Carl?
Drew?
CJ?
You ready to plug, dude?
Sure.
I'm tired of talking about religion.
We're on Anchor, Apple,
Anchor.
Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcast at the Lunch Table PBJ. That might be how you're listening to us right now. And if you want to shut CJ up, keep pressing that like button.
That is true. Press it, press it, press it, press it.
I mean, you can shut us up by hitting the pause button and then the play button, but then you miss out on me. So if you just want to shut him up, then you have to just press it.
Press it.
We're on YouTube at the Lunch Table PBJ. That might be how you're watching us right now. So if you want to see his mouth stop moving, again, you got to hit the like.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. You just want to kiss me.
No.
I'm looking at my lips, ain't you?
I'm looking at the trash stash of a beard.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Mr. Poof Chin over there.
Hey.
You look like your cat's
I
balls.
My cat doesn't have any balls. YouTube
like
might
that
be how you're
patch
watching
of
us
empties.
right now. Go ahead and like, subscribe, do all the things everybody else says.
You look like that empty sack dragging behind him.
We're at Facebook at the Lunch Table with PBJ, speaking of empty sacks. We're also on our fan page at the Munchies. You can stay up to date with everything that we're doing and always stay up to date when new episodes come out. We are pretty vigilant about letting people know whenever new episodes come out. We keep a rigorous schedule to make sure that you get your content on time.
On time. Drew's real good about that.
Yeah.
Drew don't fuck around about that.
We're on TikTok and Instagram at the Lunch Table PBJ. That's how you can look at the funnier side of some of the things that we do. Some of the punishments and some of the nice pictures and some of the cool things up there.
And just be part of the group. You can literally make a video with our video and almost feel like you're in the podcast.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be, but you can feel like you almost are.
If you're friends with Elon Musk, we're on Twitter at Lunch Table PBJ. You can stay up to date there too, as well as taking care of some of our polls.
You can always take care of our polls.
Yeah.
Don't ever feel like you can't take care of a poll for us.
Yeah. If you want to take care of our polls even more, we're on Patreon at the Lunch Table PBJ. If you want to be that person that gives that little bit extra, that's the way to do it. It comes to us, and we use it to get back. We're like Mother Teresa for podcasts.
Yes.
Mother Teresa's for podcasts.
As you can tell, I put in as much training as she did for this.
We will not use dirty needles.
Accidentally. We know what we're doing.
Right.
Put it on the fire.
Go grab the lighter.
Go grab the... You want your lip pierced? Yep.
Isn't that how you got your eyebrow pierced?
No, that is how I pierced my lip. I did myself. I was like, I was like, this looks dumb. I took it out. Like, right after I did it, I was like, this looks dumb.
CJ?
Yeah.
You want to finish it up for me?
I will finish our plate. So, first, I would like... Oh. My mommy's calling, so we got to make this quick. Drew, thanks for being you.
Thanks for being you.
I enjoy you for everything you are. Thanks for stopping by, having a bunch of fun with all you guys. It's always getting better. My little wisdom for today is life's a pond, and we're just throwing rocks, man.
Can I be a koi fish?
No, you're throwing rocks. You might know how big the splash is, but you don't know how long those ripples will go for.
They go on indefinitely.
Also, what's up with this really unique taco?
I don't know.
All right. Peace.
Bye.